Greetings, my name is Monty Martin.
And I'm Kelly McLaughlin.
And we are the Dungeon Dudes. And today we are cracking open the 2024 Player's Handbook to take a look at all the changes that have been made to monks in the new version of the rules.
Monks have undergone some of the biggest changes in the game, and today we're going to take a look not just at their class features, but also how the various feats and other options might impact the way that you play the monk moving forward. There's a lot to discuss today, so let's get rolling.
This episode of our show is sponsored by Tabletop Mirror.
Tabletop Mirror is a homebrewing and VTT platform for TTRPGs of all kinds, with a focus on customization and community creation.
It's been built for world builders, game masters, homebrewers, and more. And the platform is already packed with features. But right now, they're running a backer kit campaign to support the platform and grow even more features so that it can offer much, much more.
World builders can build their own wiki-like repository, draw world maps, and choose how to share their creations. Game masters can tweak or rewrite rule systems, including both D&D and Pathfinder. They can create their own spells, items, classes, ancestries, and rules. And they get to use InDesign-like tools to format and publish their homebrew creations.
And whether you're a game master or a homebrewer, you can share the content with your players and they can search through the rules, plan their character builds, and use modular character sheets during the game. The platform is building out with its own included VTT with plenty of great features as well. So check out the campaign now on BackerKit. Backers do get their platform membership included with their pledge and can help drive the development of the platform by suggesting and voting on new features. Follow the links down in the description below to check out Tabletop Mirror and their BackerKit campaign.
And now, on to the episode. Now, we are going to be doing a deeper dive into the monk when we do our actual class videos, but today we just want to focus on the kind of broad strokes changes that have occurred from the 2014 rules to the 2024 rules. So let's kick things off by asking what hasn't changed here?
Monks are still the go-to class for unarmed combatants in Dungeons & Dragons. And perhaps more so than ever before, they actually have the claim to be the masters of the martial arts, especially compared to other classes. The fundamental features of the class are still here. They're still making flurries of blows, stunning strikes, they're using Step of the Wind, they got unarmored defense. But many of the costs and limitations that were imposed on monks' class features had been unshackled or loosened, allowing monks to take more advantage of all their class features in a way that they really couldn't before.
So when we look at the big picture of the changes to the monk, monks kick ass now, literally, with more ways to regain focus points, previously key points, and flat-out damage upgrades, as well as significant boosts to the baseline power to their subclasses. The monks come out swinging, and they might earn a place amongst the best martial classes in the game now.
So to kick things off, key points have been renamed to focus points, and starting at second level, monks have a new feature, which is called Uncanny Metabolism, which lets them get all their focus points back when they roll initiative once per long rest. They still get all their focus points back on a short rest, and some other higher level features are going to give them back a couple focus points when they roll initiative, but this really means that monks are going to have a much bigger reserve of focus points to use to power all their abilities.
Another major change to the monk is that the martial arts die has been bumped up one die size at all levels. Now it starts at a D6 instead of a D4, and it's going to cap out at a D12. Also, you no longer need to take the attack action to make unarmed strikes as a bonus action or use Flurry of Blows. This opens up a world of possibilities for alternate options on your turn.
Best of all, starting at level 10, Flurry of Blows is 3 attacks instead of 2, and monks can now simply disengage and dash as a bonus action without needing to spend focus points. Instead, the Step of the Wind and the Patient Defense features let the monk spend a focus point to either disengage and dodge at the same time or disengage and dash at the same time. So you're kind of double dipping on those bonus actions. And again, that is as a bonus action. So you've got this really superlative mobility as a monk.
Yeah, previously you had to use key points to use any of these features. Now you just get them and you get to combine them for the cost of your focus points to kind of expand the usage of these options. Monks can also now use their dexterity instead of strength for grappling and shoving, which is going to come in really handy when we look at some of the feat options. And on the flip side, Stunning Strike is now limited to once per turn. For dungeon masters who have seen monks dump all of their key points into a Flurry of Blows Stunning Strike storm on their boss monster, this might come as a relief.
Indeed. So this really does mean that Monk's capability to stun lock a boss is greatly, greatly diminished. On the flip side, a monster that succeeds its saving throw against a stunning strike does have its speed halved, and the next attack against it has advantage. So it means that even a boss monster using legendary resistance to ignore the stun is still going to have some kind of effect on them from the stunning strike.
The monk's high-level features have seen a few improvements, but their capstone is actually worth noting here. It allows them to boost their dexterity and wisdom both by 4, up to a maximum of 25.
They really took a page out of the Barbarians playbook.
Yeah.
I think overall what we see is that the core monk is now much more efficient at using their focus points and has a lot more to do with those focus points, but at less of a cost than before. Because I think when you played a monk previously, this was always the issue, is that you just burned through those focus points so fast, and then you were out of gas.
And that was kind of the downside of the monk, is once you ran out of focus points or key points, there wasn't much that the class could do. But now we have this well of points that we can spend. We can replenish them once per long rest. We're going to replenish them on short rest. You can use them more effectively, and some of the core features don't even require using them anymore. So I think monks are going to look a lot more versatile at the table.
So when it comes to feats, monks have been gifted a wonderful little present in the form of the Tavern Brawler Origin feat, which if you thought people were taking Tavern Brawler on monks a lot in Baldur's Gate 3, it kind of puts every monk as a Tavern Brawler now, because I think everyone's going to want it.
They're all Drunken Masters. We don't need the Drunken Master class anymore. We're all Tavern Brawlers. We're all getting drunk and fighting anyway.
Tavern Brawler lets you reroll any roll of 1 on the damage of an unarmed strike, and you also get to push targets that you hit with an unarmed strike once per turn, and use improvised weapons.
Now, if you pair that with another amazing feat that you can get at level 4, say, Grappler, the Grappler feat is off the chain on the monk, mainly because the monk gains the ability to use dexterity for grappling. So when they hit with an unarmed strike, they can damage and grapple. They gain advantage on targets grappled by them, and they have no penalty moving a grappled target. So you could punch an enemy, grapple them, and then drag them through the ranger's spike growth that they cast.
Yeah. Or just the fact that being able to hit with someone once, grapple them, which now you're holding them in place, and now all your other attacks against them are going to have advantage simply because you took the grappler feat is huge. Now, there are a couple changes to the way that a grapple works in the new rules, because when you initiate the grapple, you both have to hit with the attack and the target does make a saving throw to resist it. But that's going to be counteracted by the fact that monks are using their dexterity to determine that saving throw instead of strength. So now in the new rules, when you hit with an unarmed strike, you get the choice of doing damage, grappling, or shoving the target. With Tavern Brawler and the Grappler feat, you can damage and grapple someone at the same time. When you make that grapple attempt, the target makes a strength saving throw or a dexterity saving throw to try to resist it. Normally, with unarmed strikes, you use your strength to determine that DC. Monks are able to use their dexterity to determine that DC.
Which is helpful.
Yeah. Interestingly enough, targets still use athletics or acrobatics to escape grapples, but they make saving throws to resist them initially.
Interesting. I also think if we're looking at feats, Crusher is going to be a really good option for monks as well, and I can't wait to see a Crusher, Grappler, Tavern Brawler monk.
A lot of pushing, grabbing, moving people around in that build alone. Now, on the other hand, monks lost out on getting any of the new weapon masteries, which to me really feels like a loss. I would have loved them to get them innately, which makes you a little bit tempted to grab the Weapon Master feat, but I personally think that taking a level of fighter just solves that problem, because it's going to give you a fighting style feat, and a monk with Vex and Nick and 2-weapon fighting is going to get a whole extra attack that they can then combine with their Flurry of Blows. So So if you are a 10th level monk with 1 level of fighter, you're going to be able to dual wield scimitars to make 2 attacks with the scimitars, then 1 extra attack thanks to Nick, and then 3 flurry of blows attacks. 6 attacks total.
That's a lot of attacks.
Yeah, not bad. On the other hand, I could also see monks using, like monks really wanting to just use the topple mastery that is on quarterstaffs.
Yeah.
There's
because
a lot
if you knock somebody down, and then you can just pummel them with advantage.
Yeah, exactly. And it's an easy way. Now, of course, you can knock people prone with your unarmed strikes anyways, and then knock them prone, grapple them, punch, 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 punch. It's awesome.
A lot of ways to generate advantage. So as we come to the subclasses, there's a few notable changes here. Warrior of Mercy joins the monk subclasses from Tasha's. They're mostly the same as printed in the Tasha's version, but that's fine because they were already one of the best options for
just
monks.
Flat out extra damage when you're hitting with your flurry of blows, thanks to the Hand of Harm. That's great. It also has the healing capabilities. It's wonderful.
The one that I'm most excited about, though, is Warrior of Shadow. I have played a previous 2014 Shadow Monk, and I loved it, but I had some complaints. And those complaints have been addressed. Warrior Shadow can now see in their own darkness spell. Thank God. They needed that. They could cast darkness, but then they were just blind. But they can see in it now. They can also move their darkness around, and they innately get dark vision, finally. So your Shadow Monk, who excels at hiding in the shadows, can actually not be blind in the shadows.
Yeah.
I think that this is a major improvement, and it addresses all of the problems I had with the Shadow Monk, which was generally still one of my favorite monk subclasses.
Okay, so one of my least favorite monk subclasses, and the contender for one of the worst subclasses in the game previously, was the Warrior of the Elements. This subclass has been completely rewritten. It used to have a whole bunch of different, basically spells that it could cast using the focus points. That is all gone. And the current War of the Elements kind of looks like a little bit of a version of the Astral Self, because now what they're going to do is they have the Elementalism cantrip, which is a new cantrip in the book that kind of combines all those various elemental cantrips that existed before. But now they can spend 1 focus point to put themselves into an elementally attuned state, which increases their reach with their unarmed strikes to 10 feet and lets all their unarmed strikes do elemental damage of their choice, which is sweet. But the best thing about this subclass is that at 11th level, they just get to fly.
Yeah.
They just get to fly. Oh, and at level 6, they also just get to throw elemental fireballs out there. So if you wanted your reach weapon, elemental using, blast throwing, flying elemental warrior, I think you finally got your Goku build.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or your avatar state build.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, it's just exactly what you wanted it to be.
It's so much better.
Yeah.
So major improvement here.
Yeah. Finally, the Warrior of the Open Hand is largely the same as before, which is actually a bit disappointing to me because the Warrior of the Open Hand in the original 2014 Player's Handbook looked the strongest. Yeah. And that was a testament to how bad the other 2 subclasses were.
Yeah.
Although Shadow was kind of okay.
Shadow, I like Shadow.
They didn't really change much with the Warrior of the Open Hand, and I can't help but make that feel like it's kind of been left in the dust as a result.
Because Shadow got a big boost, Elements got a huge boost, and Way of the Open Hand, minor tweaks.
Yeah, because the Open Hand technique now lets you knock people prone or push them on your flurry of blows attacks. But as we just discussed, there's so many ways for you to already push people and knock them prone on your unarmed strikes thanks to feats, Tavern, Brawler, and other features. So it almost feels a little redundant, even though it's useful.
Yeah.
It's just not unique.
So Way of the Open Hand might end up being the loser of the 4 subclasses. Yeah. I still think it's an okay, there's no bad choice now in the monks, which is kind of cool, but the weakest is the previously one of the better options. Yes. But now it's not.
Yeah, I think it just really pales in comparison because if we talk about Tavern Brawler and Grappler, on the Elements Monk. So the Elements Monk when they're in their elemental attunement mode, they have a reach with their unarmed strikes of 10 feet. which means that they can grapple someone who is 5 feet away from them. I almost imagine them like using the elements to like
bands of fire wrapping
yeah,
around them and
right?
pulling them.
And so with many enemies that don't themselves have a reach, you can hold someone at bay while you're punching them with advantage.
And there's like a 5-foot gap between you and them. So if they have a 5-foot reach weapon, they can't hit you, but you're like elementally blasting them.
Yeah.
And holding them with your like elemental tendrils.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, that's great.
That's great.
Right. And of course you could be in the air as well if you wanted that extra buffer. So,
why wouldn't you be in the air?
Yeah,
I mean, if you can be in the air, be in the air.
So I think that so actually, and more specifically, your reach is 10 feet greater than normal. So I actually missed this. Your reach is normally 5 feet. So your reach with the elemental attunement is 15 feet with your unarmed strikes.
Nice. Wow. Okay.
Okay, so that's even better.
Because now even if they have a 10-foot reach, you can hold them 5 foot off. Yeah. You pole arm minions got nothing.
Oh, that's really good.
Is the Elements monk now the strongest monk?
I mean, that is really good battlefield condition.
Yeah. There's some.
And the fact that you just get your dexterity to use instead of strength there, it does make me wonder if there's other things that we can add to the grapple to make it even harder to break out of.
Right.
Yeah. Because, now holding someone at bay over 10 feet away from you and the fact that you could be flying over them.
Yeah.
That's really good. That's really good. I like that.
So let's talk about the bottom line on how the monk's looking in the 2024 books. Great. The Warrior of the Elements looks really scary now, and I'm actually so thrilled to see the subclass, the elemental subclass, come to life in the way that it deserved. My personal favorite, the Warrior of Shadow, finally has all of the things I complained about it lacking in the 2014 edition. I think if there's one class who wins for the biggest glow up in the 2024 rules, it's definitely the monk. I cannot wait to see more tavern brawling, pro wrestling, boxing, flying, fist fighting, martial arts masters at the game table. And I think this is going to be one of the best martial classes in the game.
I kind of can't get over the elemental warrior thing. And I guess maybe it's because it says if you make an unarmed strike, maybe it doesn't apply outside of turns, but I hope it works that way. I hope I'm not wrong on this. I really hope it works that way because that would be great for monks if it works that way. You also get to move people around too with it. I want to play this character.
That's shocking because you've never wanted to play a monk before.
No. Like under pain of death, you could not. You could make me under pain of death, but like. Yeah, I would play this monk, and so I really hope that actually works because, like, okay, does the grapple break? Okay, escaping the grapple condition if the distance between the grapple target and the grapple exceeds the grapple's range. Okay, when you make an unarmed strike, your reach is 10 feet greater than normal as elemental energy extends from you. That sounds like it works.
I think so. Let us know in the comments below if you think that works. If you think Monty should play a monk for his next character.
When you make an unarmed strike, your reach is 10 feet greater than normal as elemental energy extends from you. So the question is it only in the act of attacking that you have the extended reach?
But grappling, yeah.
Right, but grappling then says, or if the distance between the grappled target and the grappler exceeds the grapple's range. And then your unarmed strike, which is based on that, your unarmed strike now effectively has a 15-foot range. I personally think it works, but jury's out.
So that's our look at the monk and all the big changes. And I'm excited that Monty's excited because Monty being excited about monks matters because he's never been excited about monks in his whole life. So I want to hear if you're excited about the monk. Tell us what you think of these changes, and if you're already planning your next monk using the 2024 rules, tell us about that in the comments below.
The videos that we create on our channel are made possible thanks to the incredible generosity of our Patreon supporters. If you enjoy the work that we do here on the channel, please consider becoming a patron of the show by following the links right down below.
And if you want to see us playing some D&D, you can check out our adventures in the world of Drakkenheim, which airs Tuesday evenings right here on YouTube. You can check out all the previous episodes right up over here.
And we've got plenty more coverage of the 2024 rules updates right up over here.
Please subscribe to our channel, like this video, and ring that bell so that you never miss an episode.
Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next time in the dungeon.